Hey everyone, it's Stephanie here, and today I have a quick video to share with you to show you how I created this card with the My Favorite Things Mod Border stamp set, as well as the Simply Fabulous sayings. So to start off, I'm going to use this great arrow border from the Mod Borders, and I've just went ahead and I put that onto my Fiskars block. I'm using the longer block so that the border stamp fully fits, and I'm going to be using these three pigment inks from Avery Elle to do my stamping. I have the lemongrass, the aquamarine, and the fog. And I'm just going ahead and working on this small size craft mat here. It's just a larger craft mat that I've cut into smaller pieces. And I'm going to stamp on this because the border is going to go off the edge of the paper when I do the stamping. So I just don't want to get it on my work surface there. So I made sure when I put the stamp onto the block that it was positioned against the grid line so that I knew I would be able to get perfect space stamping and make sure it was straight across the card base. And I went ahead and had stamped that stamp directly across the bottom with the arrows kind of ending almost at the edge with just enough space that I could go in the other direction and have the arrow stamp meet that first one. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the other two colors, but this time I'm going to shift to where those arrows meet up on the front of the card. So with the fog color next, I kind of shifted them to the left a little bit more, and I'm just doing the exact same stamping, just stamping it up and doing it one direction and then going ahead and stamping it up and doing it the other direction as well. And just make sure when you're doing this that you kind of wipe up your craft sheet in between each color, just because you get a lot of that ink onto the craft area, and since it's pigment ink it stays wet and can definitely make a mess if you don't wipe it up. So now you can see I'm going ahead and using that lemongrass ink. This is a really great green color, and I've been really obsessed lately with like a gray or a black color with this lime green and aqua. I just really like how great these three colors look together, and I think they can be both masculine and feminine, so it's just a great color combination for any type of card. So now that I have those stamped on there and I've let that ink dry, I went ahead and die cut some white Neenah cardstock hearts from the Simon Says Stamp Large Holiday Shapes. And I think this is maybe the second largest heart die in that die set. And I'm just going ahead and pushing that die directly into the ink pad to completely cover it in the ink colors that I used on the borders on the card base. So same thing as before, just kind of make sure you're wiping off your fingertip as you do each one, or you're going to end up transferring the ink color in between the three hearts, and you want to try and avoid that. So I'm just doing the same thing here with the fog ink, and then I'm also going to do it with the aqua ink on that third heart. And this is just a great way to add color to these die cuts and keep them completely coordinating with your card because you're using the same ink that you use to do the stamping on the card base. So I have all those done there, and I'm just going to go ahead and let those dry while I go ahead and work on the sentiment. I'm using the Simply Fabulous sayings, which has some great larger size sentiments, which are more of like a scripty font. And then it has some smaller ones that you can kind of mix and match with what you want your sentiment to say. So I'm going ahead and using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which is my favorite sentiment ink. And I'm just stamping that big awesome. And when I put it onto the card, I wanted the little loop in the A to kind of overlap the green area a tiny bit. So I made sure when I stamped that I put it down far enough so that it would end up going over that green area. And then I just added the UR, which is one of the smaller type fonts that's in that stamp set, directly on top of the awesome, and it looks like it was meant to go together and it was one sentiment stamp. So I really love the possibilities of the different type of sentiments you can create with this. So now that that's on there, I went ahead and added some glue to the area that the borders met, the two end arrow pieces met. And now I'm just going to take my tweezers and add those die cut heart pieces that we did to the areas with the glue. And I'm just kind of making sure that I'm not using the same color heart in the same border area. I kind of went with the green at the bottom, the blue, and then the gray at the top. I kind of liked the pattern and how those colors looked with each other, so that was what I ended up deciding on. And I'm just using my tweezers to kind of shift those around and make sure they're center in the middle area. and that they're completely straight up and down. I didn't want them to be slanted at all. And then once I have those fully on there, I'm going to go ahead and take some glossy accents and add that to all 3 hearts, completely cover those, and it'll stay on the hearts no problem. That's one of the great things I love about glossy accents is you can apply it to something like this and it won't kind of drip off the sides or ooze over. It'll stay exactly on the shape that you're putting it on, and when it dries it gives this great glossy finish and almost makes it look like an epoxy sticker. So just a fun way to add a little bit of dimension to a card without being too obvious or too over the top. And then once that glossy accents dries there, I'm also going to add a little bit of glitter to the card. I don't catch it on the video, but I did add some clear Wink of Stella to some of the random arrows in the border stamps. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.